Hi, everyone. Welcome to our very first episode of the Unstuck Leader Series. I'm Nadia Ramtran, the president and CEO of NRNY Consulting, and also the founder of Unstuck Leader. Our very first guest is Darryl Rhames. I've known Darryl for quite a few years now. We connected on Facebook. Our mutual friend is my amazing coach, Devin, and I've had the pleasure of working with Darryl in my mastermind groups and just getting to, be a witness of his journey and his goals and all of his accomplishments through the years. So I'm really looking forward to having Darryl as our guest and just hearing from him his stuck to unstuck leader story, and also just some strategies that he will be able to share with all of us about how we can create value in our own lives. So Darryl, thank you so much for joining us today. I'd love to just start out, just share a little bit about what you do now and what is your stuck to unstuck leader story?
I have a few things that I'm involved in right now. For my main, professional job is going to be healthcare compliance or
Mhm.
internal audit. Been doing that for about 25 years in that industry. And being in an industry, you find out a lot of different things on the regulatory side, but also you come across different personalities and different issues, fraud, waste, and abuse,
Mhm.
and things you have to really sit down and troubleshoot or take your time and think about a good recommendation to help somebody out. So in
Mhm.
that type of field of industry, very fulfilling because you can get that benefit of seeing something you recommend being implemented and seeing how it works and helps for a positive outcome.
Mhm.
Outside of that, I volunteer a lot for different charities. One of the major ones is the MS Society, March of Dimes, American Heart Association. And I do those things because they touch my family directly. I have people who are actually dealing with those different types of symptoms and diseases and illnesses. So I try to do what I can while I'm away from home, home being I'm a native New Yorker living in Texas. So I try to do what I can here in Texas to support my family in New York City.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. And, just based on your experience as a leader in your field, was there a time, whether it could be in at the beginning of your career, or would you say like maybe where you're trying to figure out what you wanted to do next? And so could you share like a time when you felt stuck? Like, did you ever feel stuck as you were trying to think about your career path, or um, advocating for yourself to get promotions at work? Like, how did you navigate some of that stuckness in your career?
Well, one of the biggest hurdles was communication. And some people may know me now and state that I can speak a lot or I'm very outspoken. In actuality, I'm not. It took me a very long time to get comfortable with speaking in front of people, especially groups or in a recorded session. I was really, I want to say timid, I was more reserved in speaking up and stating anything. So I had to figure out a way to, blossom and be able to
Mm-hmm.
state my needs and my goals and show my skills in a way where people would notice. And
Mm-hmm.
by doing so, one of the first areas that helped me get unstuck, I had to take an oral communication class in college. I attended Hampton University, and I can't remember the professor's name, but he made you introduce yourself in a speech. You had to find a way to make yourself so descriptive that people will want to know about who you are. And that was one of the first introductions to kind of coming out of my shell. And going forth from there, every position I was in, whether it be audit, whether it be accounting, whether it be compliance, you had to explain a report, explain findings, explain recommendations, present to different audiences. So I was forced to have to communicate my ideas and make people believe what I was stating was beneficial.
Mm-hmm.
Once I got over that hurdle or kind of got unstuck, the second hurdle was being a presenter. Now, I know you mentioned Devin. I know him from high school. I would not have known he was going to be a coach today and what he does. But one of the things that was an inspiring thing for me is seeing motivational speakers and how
Mm,
they came from different backgrounds and industries and was able to find a way to motivate somebody towards their goal. So my goal
mm,
was just being a presenter. I mean, can I speak on
mhm,
what I know and have somebody want to hear about it?
mm,
I had to start going to different conferences. I started volunteering. I started doing moderator work where I would introduce people so I can have the opportunity to watch and observe speakers in today's time who people wanted to pay attention to. After doing that for a couple of years, I submitted my own um, presentations for the healthcare industry in hopes that somebody would give me a chance also. I got that opportunity through a couple of organizations, and I was able to express my ideas and actually teach and instruct and have people give me constructive criticism and also take my ideas and implement them in their companies. So it was a good, fulfilling um, step in my career and also in going over my hurdle or my fear, as you can say it, of public speaking.
mhm. That's a really great stuck to unstuck leader story. And I think I can also certainly relate to parts of that where I never saw myself as being a public speaker. Like I would never even do this, right? 5 years ago, I never thought that I would be a coach or a trainer or, doing motivational speaking or any other type of events or group coaching. And so what I realize is that it's like who we surround ourselves with. And as you think about your own network, whether it's personal or professional, maybe both, how has that impacted your career or how you show up in life in general, right? Like we want to think of life as like personal and professional, like not separating the two, but just life, like how has that really helped you to move forward and keep going and be consistent in who you're being in the world?
One of the main things I like doing is, affecting people's lives in a positive way. And one of the other, I guess, tactics or tools I utilized was joining a mastermind group. And I'm not sure if you know what that is. I know you do. It is a group of influential people who have, I want to say like ideas, but like aspirations in trying to achieve their goals. And, I had a great coach and she was very challenging and she had me do different exercises. And one in particular was a very tough exercise, but it made me look at my life and career path in a complete different light. And one of the things I'm going to share this nugget she dropped on me. It was, write your obituary today and in the future. And that was, mind blowing. I'm sitting there going, write my obituary. Are you kidding me? But it makes you think about what things you have done that impacted your life and others and what you have not yet accomplished. And of course, the coach was you, and it was a great exercise, and we had a wonderful partner in that group, and it was a very encouraging session. And by being around encouraging people who are putting forth effort and asking you really, crucial questions to help you achieve your goals, that surrounds you with such a positive energy that pushes you forward to do what's necessary. And by being able to share in that group and
Yeah.
actually put forth the assignment and do it and return with the results, it was an amazing
Mm,
experience. And I try to now utilize that same example when I go to work or when I want to do different projects. I look at it and go, how am I going to
mm,
succeed? What can I do to impact today? But also, how am I going to leave an impact when I'm not here anymore? What's my legacy?
mhm.
And that's a huge question to ask yourself. And I appreciate in that group that being asked of me.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that gem. And just your experience of like how that has transformed your thinking about what's happening in the present and then what you want to be different in the future and like how you're really in control of your own outcomes and taking certain action steps to get there. And so I remember when you did the activity, you were like, "Oh my goodness, what? You want me to write my obituary?" And then even asking you to like write two, like write one right now and then write one um for the future, like far in the future, when as if someone else is reading it, right? Like, or someone else wrote that obituary and is reading it in front of a very large crowd. And so I think it just helps us to put things into perspective. And really, life is short. Like, we don't know what's going to happen even like 5 seconds from now or 10 seconds, 15 days from now. It's just, you never know. It's always in flux. And I think just being able to ground ourselves and understanding and knowing like what our why is and our purpose, and like always walking and living in our purpose and being intentional about what we want to do next. So, after you wrote both obituaries and you came back to the group, it was just, I mean, we could tell that there was a shift, right? Like, you were ready to go. You were like, you had a clear vision, you knew exactly what you wanted to do, and you knew how you wanted to get it done. And it's just about taking those smaller action steps. And I think even seeing you, there were times where you felt stuck in our group, and you immediately, like, you're so coachable that, you can immediately take action steps, like to one small action step. And so, and I think that, as we think about like our action steps, and, was there a time where you felt like hesitant to do something, where you felt stuck in like a moment? So for example, even in our using our group as an example, when did you feel stuck, and like what was your breaking point to like want to know that you wanted to create change? Like, what was something that you either said to yourself or that you experienced even before doing the obituary activity? Because sometimes we go through like these stuck feelings and thoughts that are sort of like recurring. So like, how do you manage like getting out of that?
Well, I wanted to do more, I guess, give more of myself. So one of the toughest decisions was trying to take on more responsibility in an organization. So I was in committees, I was always a supporter, I would go do things as a volunteer, but I wanted to try and be a board member. And I wanted to be in a role because I felt I could maybe make a bigger impact on the missions and the goals and how it was being achieved in the organization. Now, I have been successful as a board member on one organization, but I still have another one that I submitted to. It has not yet been accepted, but I am on the ballot, so which is a first. So I'm going to have to go through my peers, looking at my experience and
Mm,
what I feel I can bring to the table, and then we'll see if I am actually selected to be on the board officially. But doing the application, I was stuck. I
mm,
remember talking to
mhm,
you and Kayla and going, "Hey, can you look at this? I'm going through it. They want me
mhm,
to give a bio that's 100 words. They want me to hit these high notes in less than 100, and I need to make sure
mhm,
it's impactful enough where this board of diverse people, or maybe not so, is going to look at it and see if I have the experience and have the drive to add to what they already have."
mhm,
That was um, I was real hesitant, and I was sitting there, sitting on that application, and I remember you all saying, "Hey, did you submit it?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I sent the email." You were like, "But did you get it back?" "Yeah, I got it back." "Did you get the
yeah,
application?" "I did." "You filled it out?" And it was kind of like, well, "What are you waiting for?" It's like you're telling us what you want to do, and you're speaking
mhm,
to. Just put it on paper. And once I
exactly.
started and started getting rolling, I was just okay. And then I
Yeah.
shared that email with you, and now they accepted my application. But it took a while for me to actually submit it, right? And you all were like, "What's going on, Darryl? I mean, come
Yep.
on, what are you doing? I mean, you want to be a board member, you say, right? You
Mhm,
want to more impact on this organization. You want to make changes. Um, you got to make the first step." And what's that quote? It says you don't have to take the first step to see the rest of the path. And I was so stuck on looking at what
mhm,
could happen in the future or down the road, and I didn't take the time to look down and take that first step to see if it even can happen.
Right. That's such an amazing example because when you took that first step, you were being present, right? And when you're not taking that first step, you're either thinking about something that's happened in the past or you're thinking about something that hasn't even happened yet, which is the future. And so those are two like very different distractions that just like create that stuckness so that we're not able to do the thing we need to do in the present. So, we were your cheerleaders. We were like checking in on you, making sure that you got that application in because
Yeah.
you said, right, like being in integrity with yourself, you said that you wanted to become a board member. And it's really about holding yourself accountable to those actions. And if you say that you're going to do something, you do it. So, I mean, you have created like so much in your life and professionally, and it's just been really wonderful to see your progress and all that you have accomplished. So, we've come almost to the end of our time together, but I have these table topics, so I'm going to pull a
Oh,
question card from here.
wow.
I don't know what the questions are. I'll let everyone know that too. I don't go through it and like choose. It's just
Okay.
random. So whatever question comes out, you have to answer it.
Not.
So the
uh,
question is, okay, this is a pretty good one. What's your favorite social network?
oh, social network. That's going to be hard. Um, it changes, but I want to state that I really like LinkedIn. And let me tell you
Mm,
why. It's a professional network, nothing against Facebook and Instagram, because I do utilize those and I like
mm,
interacting with people through both. But when I hit LinkedIn, it's more of a digital footprint of your professional
mm,
career.
mm,
So when you place things on there as accomplishments, as achievements, and it's trying to present yourself as a professional person in your industry. So I just kind of like that um, platform for how you are represented. And
mm,
that's probably my most favorite one, even though I don't use it as much, but I make sure that my profile is up to date and intact.
mm.
Every other one, I can get to it later. I can change my picture, throw some funny frames up there, which I do enjoy. But if it becomes a serious business and you want to know exactly who I am, I will forward you to my LinkedIn page to verify what is I can do and what I have accomplished.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being our guest on our very first episode. Um, you've shared a lot of gems that I know that will create value for our audiences. And I appreciate just hearing you being transparent and authentic and about your journey from moving from being stuck to unstuck. So
Uh,
I will share your information on our social media. So if folks have questions or they just want to reach out to you to pick your brain or they need a thought partner, they can have that information available so that they can reach out.
I like that thought partner. That's pretty good. That's pretty. I like that.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you to all of you for viewing our very first episode. And there'll be more to come. And we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. You have a good night.